Cruise news time. Well, a debate in cruising is whether or not crew members should be in the same areas, public areas, as paying passengers. Well, one cruise line has decided that, well, for some crew members, they should not. And it's an interesting conversation going on right now. Also, I have a cautionary tale about a couple who, after surviving cancer, planned their big dream cruise only for them not to be able to go because of a documentation mistake. A documentation mistake that many of us could make. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your face on a Wednesday the 23rd of November, 2022. It's the day before Thanksgiving. It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. I know there's some Christmas people out there. Don't forget, tomorrow's Turkey Day. Celebrate, be thankful, have a big meal, and then get to your Christmas decorating. You gotta keep it decorated. Cruise news story number one, an interesting one. Did you realize that there are some crew members that have quite a bit of access to the public spaces on the cruise ship? Did you realize that there are some crew members that even have a cabin steward that clean their cabin? Now, this is normally reserved for higher level supervisors and officers on the cruise ship, but there are also some middle level officers and middle level crew members that have these perks. And well, they're not going to have these perks any longer on Norwegian Cruise Line, as they have announced a change to their policy. Just a few days ago, they sent letters out to their crew members informing them that only certain officers would have access to public areas. The memo that was sent to crew members reads like this: in order to ensure that our guests consistently experience the very best our ships and crew have to offer, the privilege of full public access has been redefined and will be effective with your next sailing. It continues on. At that time, only 2-stripe and 2-stripe equivalent officers and above will maintain full access to public areas and outlets. Officers and crew with less than 2 stripes will follow the availability-based sign-up process when requesting access to public areas. And like I said earlier, in addition to removing the full public access from some crew members, this is also removing the perk that some crew members had of having a cabin take care of their cabin. So all of that's going away under the umbrella of a more consistent experience for the passenger. The anonymous email that I got did seem like it was coming from an entertainer, and I have been on Norwegian Cruise Line ships where I have seen folks from the entertainment staff at the Starbucks or in public places, and so it does seem like this change could be impacting that level of crew member, and this would be a shocking change, I think. If you were used to consistently being able to go and get a coffee in Starbucks and sit in Starbucks and, read a book or something like that, then all of a sudden you couldn't. You're confined just to crew areas with just crew amenities. I could imagine that being challenging. It will be interesting to see what comes of this. Again, I've seen the debate in the crew space. There's some passengers that say crew members should never have access to the same public spaces as paying passengers. There was a conversation the other day about possibly crew members jumping in line of people. Every interaction I've seen like that, I've always seen crew members get out of the way and let the paying guests go first. What do you think? Do you think this is a good change that Norwegian Cruise Line is making? Do you think this will make for a better paying customer experience? Are you empathetic to the plight of the crew member that used to have access to public spaces that now don't have access to public spaces? Where do you fall on this one? Leave a comment below. Our next cruise news story is a doozy about a couple who survived a challenging life event only to be denied the ability to go on a cruise, and possibly because of a paperwork mistake that they made. Cautionary tale. But before I tell you about that, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank you in advance. So the couple from the UK, cancer survivors, after their cancer went into remission and their health returned, they planned a cruise on TUI Cruises. It was a dream cruise to see the Northern Lights. Everything was going quite well until they made it to the cruise port in Southampton, where they were notified upon embarkation that their passport did not have enough time left on it to allow them to board the ship. Now, if you're unfamiliar with how this works, there are some countries that say if you want to visit our country, you must have a certain amount of time left on your passport before it expires to be able to travel in and out of our country. And a loose standard that you see sometimes is 6 months, but there's other countries that have a 3-month, that kind of thing. And so what happened is the country that they were going to required that passengers have 6 months left on their passport at the time that they are exiting the country. And well, this couple did not. They were denied boarding, they were denied their cruise, and it kind of leaves them in a quandary. Their big challenge is they say that they worked with a local travel representative, they worked with a local TUI representative, and that they showed them their passport and that it was never mentioned to them. It's one of those kind of stories where for the couple, the question becomes, where does the responsibility actually lie? Does it lie on the travel agent that's putting you on the cruise, or does it rely on you to know how much time is left on your passport? It's one of those things that will have to be settled, but the reason I bring it up to you guys is it's a cautionary tale. How much time is left on your passport before it expires? And do you have any travel planned during that time? This is something that you have to pay attention to because it could be a huge rude awakening as you show up at the cruise port and you are unable to travel. Let me kick it over to you. Have you ever had any issues with your passport that has impacted your ability to travel? What did you do? Have you done the online passport renewal? How long did that take? All of those things, leave a comment below. And look, I did do this passport video a couple years ago talking about some of the gotchas when it comes to passports. If you're unfamiliar with passports and some of the challenges, make sure you check out that video next. This is Tony for Lido, Loca. Smash that like button, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.